Buying and selling a home is one of the biggest decisions of your life. Even if everything goes perfectly, it can be complicated or stressful. There's so much attached to it emotionally because our home is a reflection of who we are. A lot of realtors out there, they're just all about the transaction, making the numbers turn, and how many can I sell? You know, it's just not about that. It's truly about building a relationship with your client. I want my clients to be lifelong friends and part of my family forever. I want them telling their friends about me and helping them achieve their goals by educating them and telling them what you're going to do before you do it. Being in business as long as I've been in it, I see it all the time. There's just so many agents, you know, getting their license and just trying to make a quick commission, and they're not even into business. It's part-time, they don't answer their phones, and you have to be extremely educated in this market to be able to benefit your buyer and seller. You know, real estate's fun, and you guys need to have fun through this process too, because it's exciting. It's exciting to sell your home, it's exciting to buy a home. So my job is to make sure that the job gets done and everybody's happy.
Really, the purchase of a house is an emotional thing. You know, they buy it because of their family and their children and inviting friends over. They want to be the king of their castle. They want to really be proud of what they own. They can imagine their friends sitting there. They can imagine their kids playing in the backyard because it's so cool backyard. Now you're in a situation where they're emotionally involved in your home. And I can tell you one thing I've known over my 35 years, when someone gets emotionally involved in a purchase, money becomes much less an obstacle.
I've been extremely successful in my career, but when I found NAEA, it really put things in more perspective to me. I've always been educating myself, but these guys, it's just a whole nother level. You have to educate yourself. If not, you're disservicing your clients. The reason I went on with Jay and Mike is because, you know, they've already got success. I've been successful too, but I was looking into what they had to offer, and it was a system. And I didn't have a system in place. You know, I was just out there, you know, doing the best I can do, like most realtors do. But you know, as time goes by, you're always looking how to get better. You know, what can I do to get better? How can I stand out? And those guys really put it together for me. The result of having Jay and Mike's system added to my system together is just, it's successful all the way around the table for the buyer, the seller, and the agent. The benefit of these systems is that it will help a home seller sell their home for up to 18% more. The way I'm able to help people earn 18% more on the sale of their home is by the 7 laws of selling a house. So we had to put all that together and help the client understand how we get there. Everybody knows a realtor out there. You know, there's probably 10, 15 jobs just on one transaction. And you know, people just don't understand what it really takes to be a true real estate agent.
Let's face it, for most people, selling your home is going to be the largest financial transaction you'll ever make in your lifetime.
And that's your home equity on the line, not your real estate agent, so you don't want to take chances.
You don't want to gamble. You don't want to feel like you're playing the slots at a casino. What you want is the biggest payoff possible when you sell your home.
That's why we spent years researching real estate around the world and working in our local communities to develop a method to maximize that payoff.
The result is a proven, repeatable system that works for any home in any market.
We look at it like this. Your home is not just your home, it's also the largest investment that you probably have made. And you wouldn't want to utilize the equity that you have. You wouldn't want to leave money on the table. So we look at it from that approach is how do we help you maximize the investment you've made in real estate to make sure that you walk away with the most amount of money. You know, over the years, we became very frustrated in the real estate industry that there just wasn't a true level of professionalism that every single real estate agent was kept up to. A level of integrity, a level of expertise, a level of understanding of how to get the most for their client, whether they're buying or selling. And that's the reason that Mike and I founded the National Association of Expert Advisors. That's the reason that we opened Kinder Reese as a brokerage. Selling lots of homes is great, but the most important factor in being successful as a real estate agent isn't the number of homes you sell, it's how well and how much value you add to the transaction.
Every single month, every single quarter, every single year is really dialing in the real estate model because it's broken. It's bottom line broken. When you look from a brokerage model, there's people out there just running the business and not really running it the right way. And so I feel like it's my obligation, it's my duty. I mean, I speak to people who don't even know how many leads they get. I speak to people who don't know any of their metrics. And that would be so unacceptable with most other industries. And it's just shocking when you talk to real estate agents, they just haven't been trained on any of that.
When I was 9 years old, I wanted a red shoe shine kit for Christmas. And sure enough, Christmas Day, I got my red shoe shine kit. And that day, I went knocking on doors. And I always wanted to be a great salesperson, even knowing that at 9 years old. So off I went, and that's pretty much where the light bulb went off that I could, sell myself and assist people in a service. I've been in the real estate business over 20 years. I'm very successful, and I want my clients to be successful in their decisions. So that is just huge for me to be able to, convey that over to a client.
One of the things that I've learned in the years and years of being in real estate is that you can't replace experience. And with hundreds of transactions under Russell's belt, you know that pretty much every circumstance that can happen has probably been experienced. And anytime you're working with someone at that level of skill and that level of experience, you're going to get the best guidance and the best advice along the way.
People might take a course and they think they have a license to kill. Obviously they're excited and I understand, the excitement of learning something new, but you know what? NAEA is just, I'm telling you, it's just brought it to a whole new level. I mean, we have 2 months of training before you can call one of my clients. And the training is just consistent, it's nonstop. I mean, it's every day we have 1 hour training with all of our agents before they start the day. And then, we have the training before that, before they even start working with us. So success is right off the bat.
The way we teach people to run a real estate business is common sense, it's just not common knowledge. When you get your real estate license, they say, you plan on about 6 months of no income. And I say, 6 months? Who can afford to get into real estate? Well, it's no wonder 80% of them get out of the business in the first year. And it's just because it's the way that, this old school business of way of doing things. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do that are productive and are going to get results right away. And you just got to focus on those things. And fortunately, those are the things that, we do first to drive, profitability.
I've been in real estate for a long time, and I started as an agent, was an agent for about 10 years at the beginning of my career before I got into management and went on from there. But I'll never forget, I took over a listing that hadn't sold, and I really thought that the property was priced right. But the funny thing is, when I walked up to the front door, I said, what's that? I'm smelling something. They actually had an old tire and an old fish tank in the corner of their garage near their front door as you walk up to their front door. You could actually get that smell as you're going through. That couple, by just taking the tire and the fish tank away, and I went in and we had them redo their children's bedroom because black wasn't really what everybody wanted with satanic people. Just repainted. It did take 2 coats. Just repainting it changed the whole thing. We actually raised the price and sold it within 3 weeks with just minor things that we changed. But you have to have an agent smart enough to know that.
I think that's fundamentally the problem in the first place is no one's making and providing this stuff in one place. They're leaving the agent up to hope and any, miny, mo as the only real strategy of finding the answers.
A couple months ago, I ran into a client. It was actually a for sale by owner. And my client asked me to show that property because they were just driving around the neighborhood like most people do. They just drive around, they're just canvassing the communities, and she called me on this sign. So I called the seller and she's like, "You have a buyer?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I have not sold my house for over 6 months." She goes, "Can you help me?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do the best I can." I said, "I have a client that's interested." I said, "I'll bring them out tomorrow." So I brought them out there. Needless to say, the backyard was too small. They wanted a swimming pool, to be able to put in the backyard. So after I left, that client called me. She goes, "You're so professional. And I loved what you had to say in front of me and your client." She goes, "Would you be my realtor?" And I said, "Absolutely." I said, "Not only am I going to be your realtor, but I'm going to sell your house tomorrow." And I did.
Buying a home is so much more than just picking out the home. There's just so many other things that are involved in that process that you really need to take into consideration. Our smart home buying strategy manages over 80 different variables that are involved in the buying process because there are so many parts. And when you identify these variables, it allows you to be proactive. But ultimately, I think at the end of the day, it helps a home buyer find what I would consider as the perfect home and negotiate the best price and terms.
They use this metaphor. They're like, "Hey, listen, I could give you all the ingredients for a chocolate cake. I could give you flour, I could give you baking powder, salt, sugar, chocolate, eggs, milk, the whole thing. And then I could say, hey, go make a cake. And if you get lucky, you're gonna make a cake. And if you make a cake, it may not be a tasty cake. Or I can give you the ingredients and then I can give you all the recipe that goes along with it. And the simplest way to put it is that we've got a recipe here. And if you look at the people who have come through the system and would follow the recipe that Mike and Jay have laid out, they've had incredible year-over-year success.
There are over 115 different variables of helping a homeowner sell their home. And just a few, just to mention, is have a home inspection, offer a home warranty, having the home staged properly, and getting repairs done that need to get done, like making sure that there's no obvious things that might be broken that the homeowner don't even know about. So that can actually stop a closing pretty darn quick, or when the buyer is getting an inspection on the house, it can ruin the whole deal. I've been in this business a long time, but when I got with Jay and Mike, when I saw these 115 different variables, I had no clue. I was one of those other agents out there, and I'm not anymore. I'm a certified real estate expert advisor. I've been trained, and I have a system in place.
For us, it's all about understanding the seller or the buyer and what their needs are, and really being able to get them exactly what it is that they're looking for, and removing all the problems and challenges that you typically might run into in a home purchase or a home sale.
I'm from England and I've moved house about 15 times so far in my life, and I'm tired of moving house, especially now with marriage and with my family. It was time to we needed to really find somewhere where we could put down roots and not move again. That was really the vision, that was our dream. So with our expert advisor, we basically shared that dream. The way we told our son, we said, we're going to buy a forever house. That's what we told Alex, our 2.5-year-old. Because although he's 2.5,